What's up, everybody? What's going on? We got my Model A up on the ramps, and what we got going on today is a leaky transmission pan again. I keep fighting this issue, so what we're gonna do is, hard to tell, boom, there's the transmission pan right there. And if you get a closer look, you got all these little drip drops that are going on. We're gonna drain it right now, and then I'm gonna take all these bolts out. And we're gonna drop the pan, we're gonna swap the filter out because I believe that the pan that I put on here, I think all the paint actually flaked up from inside the pan, clogged up my filter, and that's why I keep slipping it out of third gear while I'm driving around 50 miles an hour. So let's hop right into this. All right, we're laying under the Model A. You can see that I rode it up on ramps. Hey, when I first got the Model A, it didn't have a pan where it could drain like this, and what a pain in the butt it was to have to drain that out. Look how dark that fluid is. That's not cool, not good. So we're gonna try to see why it's even that dark to begin with. And like I said, I do believe that it's the paint fell apart inside this pan. So we're gonna try to clean it all up. And now next is gonna be dropping the pan, which are all these bolts that are all the way around. So it's gonna be fun, interesting, and I'm gonna have to just take my time and just get it off. All right, transmission pan's out. This is my reusable gasket that I wanna debate on whether doing back on or not. But you guys can see that it's pretty dark in there, and it looks like the inside of my pan now is actually nice and clean. Then underneath here, you can see now the inside of my transmission. We're gonna take the filter off right here, which is gonna take two flathead screws that are in there. So we're gonna bust that out right now. And we got the pan down, which is right here. Got it all nice and cleaned up too. We got my gasket that I'm about to show you what I'm going to do, tricks that I've seen on YouTube. We have here my transmission filter that we're gonna replace with its little gasket too, and I'm gonna show you what I do, and hopefully we get this pan on and we have no more leaks. Okay, so what I use is super glue, right? And all I do is put a little bit of a dab on the gasket, and what I like to do first is obviously dry fit it, make sure I have it lined up right. Then all I'll do is I'll flip this over like this, put a little bit of super glue on it, press it on there. And I only do a very little bit too, you don't have to go crazy. Just enough to get it on there. Someone's thinking about me. Okay. Line it up. Okay, once it starts to tack up like it's doing now, I'll flip it right over like this. Like that, and then what I'll do is I'll just put something heavy on it, and we'll let it sit for about 5 minutes. So that's sitting there nice. Now we're gonna do it here on the trans pan. The idea is I'm just gonna put like little lines in between all of the bolt holes, and then, you know, put this on here. And first though, I just found out that there's some of these high spots. You see that? So what I'm gonna do is go take a file. I'm gonna file those high spots down, and yeah, try to make sure that there's nothing gonna mess me up with the rubber gasket. So this aluminum trans pan is actually a very nice setup that I bought from Speedway. But what I learned was you can see how there's these little spots that are actually higher than the pan itself. And what I gotta do is take my flat file here and just actually, you know, scrape it down a little bit. It's important to keep this flat while you're doing it. Amazing how little bumps like that can really mess up the gasket. All right, it feels nice and flat. Go on to the next one. You don't want to feel anything sticking up, you know, it'll really mess up the gasket. So, and I'm not trying to have a leaky gasket anymore, which kills me. You see, I didn't do this the first time I put this pan on, and if you guys can see, I had this gasket, you know, a reusable gasket on there, but I believe that I ruined that one. So we're gonna attempt to put on the gasket that it came with, and where my pan was actually leaking from was right here, which is considered the front you know, this is towards the motor end, you know, and this is where it leaked. And it's funny, I had a couple high spots here. I'm gonna show you guys what I just did. So now it's so much smoother, but now, you know, I got all these little aluminum flakes in here and stuff like that, so I'm gonna wipe the pan down. And what I'm gonna do is pull the other pan out and show you guys what my other original pan looked like and why I went to a pan that's, you know, obviously much thicker. You can see that this is way thicker, and all around this is just a way better pan. So now what I have here is both of my pans. So this one is the new one, newer I should say. I've already had this on here, but I have had still leaks, and I bought this because, for one, it's much thicker and it also has a drain. I'll lift this up so you guys can see. This is tin metal. It's very thin, and it's hard to tell, but all these tops are actually mushroomed up because when you go to tighten it up like this, I over torqued them, and to be honest, before I even did it myself, they're already all overly torqued and bent. And that's half the reason why I wanted to buy this one, because you can't, even if you over torque this side, you can't bend any of these like you can with a tin metal one. But there's a lot of things that I've learned now with doing this a couple times. I've learned that you don't need to over tighten these. It's actually pretty much a hand tighten type of setup. And here, I originally tried to put all this gasket sealing on. I tried all these different things, and then I realized I was over tightening the gaskets and ruining them. That's what made me get, you know, this reusable gasket, but then I did the same thing. I ruined it. So no big deal. Today we're taking our time and we're gonna get this done nice and right. So now I just showed you guys my other pan. So right now I got some flakes in here, so I'm gonna wipe all this out. Sometimes they say it's best to just use like brake cleaner, you know, and but right now I'm just gonna tilt this up like this. Just wipe it out. You know, just make sure, basically hold it upside down. Just take your time. All right. Nothing in the pan, no debris of any kind. And like I said, I'll show you really quick about the flakes. So you guys can see where it's a little bit cleaner than darker. And that's where we used the flat file here. Like I said, you want to use a flat file for the flat surface. And you guys can see that all these high spots that were on here, especially these little circles here. And I didn't realize how each one of these was poking up, like it was, you know, intruding higher than the rest. So it's very important to take your time when we're doing this. And like I said, I had leaks here on the front of the pan, and hopefully now what we're gonna do, this is gonna solve the issue. So now we're going to line this gasket up, make sure that I have this right, because we don't wanna put super glue on and then mess this part up. So some people will make comments about how you shouldn't use super glue or whatever, but to me, I've learned that when I use gasket sealant and then a gasket, that has not worked yet. So this is all new to me, and I'm just trying something new. So I'm gonna do what I saw a couple other YouTubers do. So now my gasket's lined up, so I'm gonna put it right next to it, like that. And like I said, I'm gonna use super glue, and I'm gonna go in between each of these bolts. Just a nice little bead, nothing crazy, just enough to get this to seat. Originally, when I first pulled this off, there was a rubber gasket on here, and it was probably fine, but the car sat for a long time, and it was leaking. Okay, so now we got that on there. So, okay, boom. Because these gaskets, when you get them, they're very wavy. They don't seem to sit too right. And the idea here is that we're just trying to line up these holes here, so when I put the bolts in, there's no fight. Okay. And really, these gaskets are supposed to be good enough, so we're gonna find out today. I'm nervous, so. All right, so I got all these lined up. I'm gonna flip this over because I have it on a flat surface table. Move all these over. Gasket looks like it's fighting me a little. There we go. All right, all my holes are looking pretty good. The filter here, right, and this is very important, this is that gasket that we just put on. Can't get it off now, which is good. And here, it's supposed to have an indicator of the front, but actually this one doesn't say front for some reason. It's very odd. But it's obvious on which way it goes because there's the 2 screw holes in here. So let's get back under the car and put this on real quick. And this just requires a flathead, so. Okay, my lighting's not the best here, but you guys can see, here's the transmission filter spot right here. It can only go on one way, it looks like, just like so. Okay, this goes on just like this, all right? We got my little flathead screws right here. Put them right here. And then we got my flat head screwdriver. Okay. Nothing's ever easy. I'm not really the best mechanic, but I'll get this started. Okay, got that one started. Get my other one here. Get it through the hole. All right, so these are just hand tight. So it stops right there, and I go a little more, that's it. Nothing down on the transmission ever has to be over tight, which I'm finding out. So ready? There it is tight right there. Half a turn. A little more like that. You don't want to go Superman on these. Filter is on nicely, that's great. Put the pan back here because it still is leaking a very little bit from inside, so and that's just how they do. Like, they don't normally typically stop, maybe if you let them sit overnight. All right, so we're gonna make sure that the surface of all this is all nice and dry. I don't want anything to be wet here. We're hoping that we really get this time, and we're gonna see. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back under the car. We're gonna start by getting a couple in first, so the pan's up and holding in place. And then we're just going to snug it. And then after I snug it, we're gonna do a half a turn after that snug, and it should be all good to go. So let's get back under the car. My drill here, that's set on 6 pounds, because I don't need to be anything crazy here. So now, what I gotta do is move my shift linkage out of the way, which is right here. Slide it up under here like this. Boom, okay. The hardest part is getting this started, it seems like. Okay, right there. Nice and easy. Okay. Okay. One thing that's a little sketchy about using power tools is that you don't want to go trying to rush it because you'll definitely mess the threads up. So you just take your time. All right, motor's running. So far, but it is also still just warming up. Let's see. What we're gonna do now is that we got it off the ramps. I got my dipstick here in my hand. We're gonna let the car warm up for the next 15 minutes, and then I'll go take it down the road depending on if it's raining or not. But right now it looks like it's not raining, so hopefully we get to go take this for a run, see if how our last gear is shifting, and hopefully we're not gonna be leaking all over the floors. So we'll see, so stay tuned and let's see what happens next. All right, so we just added 3 quarts now to the Turbo 350 trans here in my Model A with, you know, obviously the Chevy 350 small block. A little shaky there. Hold up here, ready? You'll see where I can put my dipstick in right back here. The motor is all nice and warmed up now. What I have to do with my paper towel. I don't know what I just did with my paper towel. Got a paper towel. Okay, so let's Man, I wish I could set you down so you could see it. So let's just set you on the fender. A little shaky, but it's all right. Okay, we're touching the dipstick now. Looks like I need to add just a little bit more. I have some more over here in my van. All right, got another quart. All right, so this is going to be number 4. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so we're gonna take a run for the car. The car's all warmed up. And not only that, I think I'm still having a really tiny little leak. I'm not really sure yet, but we're gonna go find out. And plus we're gonna just see too if that filter helped out with my last gear. Like I said, my last gear, it would shift into last gear if I would let off the fuel, but it seemed to have a hard time staying in last gear. So we're about to go open it up and just go see how it performs. Right now, like I said, wow, I think it just shifted into 3rd right there. So that's really a good sign if that's just what it did. I can't tell, so I'm gonna go put it back in park, put it back in the drive when we go to do that. I'm not sure. So, but no, I'm very excited about this. We're about to go see how it's gonna perform here. All right, temps are good. Everything seems to be good. But this is gonna be the test though right here. Put it in park. All right, we're in park. Reverse, neutral drive. All right, so I should be in 1st. Just went for a test run in the A, and it just ran really great. I can't believe it was shifting on its own. I still had to let off the throttle a very little bit for it to shift into its last gear, but it stayed into the last gear. Last time, as soon as I would go back on the gas, it would just fall right out of gear. So I need to see what's going on with that, but other than that, we fixed our leaky transmission. Check that out. No more leaks. Pretty awesome. Very happy about that. So we're gonna park the Model A back in the shop here. And then, yeah, I'm gonna have to clean up everything in here for sure, but I am very happy overall with how we did the transmission pan today on the Turbo 350 trans. It's been doing nothing but leaking on me all the time, so I think now I finally got it. So I hope you guys all did enjoy. Don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And until the next one, everybody, peace out.